Okay, guys, so I'm back because a notification popped up from Michelle After Dark, and this is a creator, and she's affiliated with another group, sort of, but it's one that my bestie has watched well before this for other cases. And so after my bestie, a couple months ago, and told me to watch this lady. I've kind of watched Michelle After Dark's videos. Bestie's not wrong. The dogs running in the field. Always pretty relaxing. So I kind of keep an eye on her videos and watch Michelle After Dark most of the time. Anyway, the other day, and honestly, she's one of the only ones I really see that seems to try to puzzle things out in a logical way. And doesn't do it in a way that's really, it's unlike the other ones. And so, anyway, she actually seems to be trying to puzzle things out. But the other day, she had posted a video where Dawn and others had, said blatantly that, from very early on, that Summer was not inside, even though that story keeps changing. And I'll tell you that, without how or why, that I believe that to be true as well. Summer was not inside of that house. She was outside. In this morning's video from Michelle After Dark, she's puzzling over why Candace would have said this and the other, why she locked herself into, and she's not far off, and it's things I've stated in my videos very early on. In this, I think the same thing Michelle does. It was to look better than, but also because the CPS visit was the next day, and also because Michelle's not wrong. And it's also something I've stated in my early videos that this has happened prior with one of the other kids, and I think that maybe Candace thought all the neighbors would find Summer like the other one had been found fairly quickly. And I think she lied because she thought, well, if the cops do come, well, Summer will still be found pretty quickly if the neighbors don't, and it was one of those, I also didn't really want to say that the boys were up there and stuff to try to protect them, because I think she thought that Summer would be found fairly quickly. It would be, we might be in a little extra trouble, but not much when CPS shows up tomorrow for the other shit. And, maybe we'll leave the other kids alone. I think there's several reasons why she tried to make it look like whatever at first. And I think locking herself into maybe a timeline that's not right. And if the scream holds, if my timeline holds, then that would be, 4:30, 4:42 to 6:08, about an hour and a half difference from, the time she vanished. I think Michelle and half the world are right. I think Candace did not have eyes on her for that long, had really no clue where she was at. I think it does boil down to that. And honestly, been better off saying that from the get-go to a cop and going, hey, my kid was playing outside. We live in Illinois. That would not have been unusual, quite frankly. But I think that she wanted to present the best possible, because DCS was showing up the next day. There could be many reasons for it, but that's always been my theory behind it. But still, because of other things that were said to me in the first few minutes as Candace and I initially made contact at the bottom of the driveway and under the creek area, and for it, but that's always been my theory behind it. Because DCS was showing up the next day. There could be many reasons for it, but that's always been my theory behind it. But still, because of other things that were said to me in the first few minutes as Candace and I initially made contact at the bottom of the driveway and under the creek area, and other things that were said to me that day. The puzzle goes far deeper for me, and especially with what's being done lately as far as that Facebook video chat that happened between Candace and I and her wanting me to change my story and an audit money, and that bullshit call to the feds that have her and Keys written on it, and then that hoax on the Hill dinner and all these things. I mean, it makes me think all kinds of things. However, that I didn't initially think in the beginning necessarily, and it makes me doubt all kinds of things.